In an imaginary world where we have a $5,000 budget and no camera gear, a caveat that I want to mention before we get into it is that this does not include any editing. So I'm not counting computers because buying a Mac could pretty much take up your entire budget. If you do buy a camera and you have an iPhone or an iPad or just a crappy laptop or a family computer, you can go ahead and use that. I'm not saying you have to drop $5,000 right away. What I'm saying is that this gear right here is a good kit to start with that you can pretty much accomplish whatever you want in any world you may want to shoot or get into. So what we're going to start with is the camera body. The camera body that I would go with actually just came out at the time of recording this video. It is the Canon R8. So why would I choose the R8 over an R5, R6, any of those cameras? The R8 for me, as I look at the specs, seems like the best bang for your buck you can get in a body. The number one thing about the R8 that I love is that it is a full frame camera and it's only coming in at $1,500. $1,500, I'm not trying to say it's not a lot of money, but compared to the EOS R, which is also full frame, which is actually my personal B cam because it's my old camera, for $100 more, this thing is so much better. And then on top of it being full frame, you have 4K 60, so if you're trying to shoot video, well, you can shoot in slow-mo in 4K, which is always good, and also in 10-bit, so you can color it great. And then you also have 1080, 180 frames per second, so you have super slow-mo. If you're not into the video world, photo's good as well. You can shoot 24 megapixel photos, which is just a great setup, a great high-resolution body that can really cover all the bases that you might need. So there we go. Knock $1,500 off of that $5,000. We're sitting there with $3,500 remaining. You can't use that camera without a nice lens. The lens that we're going to go with as our main driver, the one that I would imagine will be on the camera 99% of the time, we're going to go with the Canon RF 24-105 f4. This lens comes in at about $1,300. And with it being the RF mount, you're going to get the highest level performance when it comes to autofocus and sharpness. This lens is a beauty. You have the wide angle at the 24mm, and then you can zoom all the way into the 105mm. It covers a great focal length, and it is the lens that you really can have on your camera the entire time throughout your shoot. That's why we went RF with this lens. Now moving forward, we just spent $1,300 on that, so we have $2,200 remaining. I know that's a lot of money, but if you buy one more lens, you're gonna be totally out of money. So we're gonna go the route that I personally actually took whenever I was buying a 70-200 for my personal use. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna buy the adapter that Canon sells so that you can use EF lenses on your RF mount. We're gonna buy the one with the control ring. Canon's adapter with the control ring right now is coming in at about $150. So go ahead, knock that off. So now we know we're gonna buy an EF lens. The EF lens that we're gonna buy is the Sigma 70-200. Why'd we go with the Sigma instead of the Canon? Comes down to price. The Canon EF 70-200 is coming in at about $1,900, but the Sigma one comes in at about $1,500. So with that right there, we can save $400, which gives us more room to buy more gear. So now we have two lenses. We have the 24-105, which 24mm will give us a nice wide perspective all the way to 105, and then the 70-200 is great for things like sports. Great for events, it'll get you that nice buttery background. So we have everything from 24mm to 200mm with our lenses. And I think that's all the lenses that you need to start out. If you're maybe trying to get into real estate and so you want a wider lens, maybe instead of the 24-105, you go ahead and you buy the Canon 17-40, so you get an even wider perspective, which is great for real estate, photo, and video. It's really whatever you are trying to build, whatever you are trying to get into that world of photography. I'm assuming that I have a lot of sports people following me, so right here is a great kit to get started in sports photography and video. 24mm all the way to 200mm will cover your bases. And we have $550 remaining in our $5,000 budget. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna get an annoying purchase out of the way. We're gonna buy more batteries. It sounds stupid, but it's something you need to factor in. Your one battery that comes with your camera is not gonna be enough if you're gonna be using your camera professionally. Now, this is not something that I personally like to cut corners on and buy third-party batteries. So the Canon batteries, the E17s, will actually come in at $60 a piece. Those are the batteries for the R8. If you're coming from a world of a T7i or anything from that Rebel series, the good news is that you can actually use that old battery for your Canon R8, so it'll save you a couple bucks. So that'll knock $120 off. So we are at $430 remaining. We're gonna have to make another boring purchase, but it is what it is. We're gonna buy memory cards. We're buying two 64GB SD cards, and these are coming in at 250 megabits per second. Fast enough to record 4K 60 onto, which is the most important thing. And also, if you're shooting photo bursts, they will be fast enough as well. These will save you, and having two memory cards is nice. So if you fill one up, you can grab another one, or if you're to shoot where you're shooting and then you have to dump your footage, you have another one that you can pop into your camera and not lose any time at all. So these two 64GB cards will come in at about $50. Next, we are going to buy something that is going to be essential for video. You want some kind of microphone. Your in-camera microphone stinks. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna buy the microphone that I actually have on my camera right now. We are going to buy the ultra compact Rode Video Micro. What this microphone is a shotgun mic that you can tap straight into your camera, but it doesn't require any batteries, and all it really does is directs your audio in one direction. So right now, the microphone's pointing at me. It's not going to pick up anything behind the camera. It's directing all of the audio towards me, so it gets me a high quality output without really spending much money. The good news is this only comes in at about $50, so this is going to save us money. Sitting at $330 left in our budget, we are going to want a tripod. So there's two different avenues that we can go here. We can buy a cheap one, or we can not buy one at all. And this is where I'll leave it up to you. Are you more in the photo world, or are you more in the video world? If you're trying to get more into video, I think instead of buying a tripod here, you might be better off buying a Ronin, also known as a stabilizer. So you can get a decent tripod similar to this for about $75. So if you want to go that direction, you have plenty of money to do so. If you don't want to use it to buy a tripod, you can go ahead and you can buy a Ronin S. Now, Adorama is selling them for as low as $200 right now. I'm still rocking with the Ronin S, the original one. Not any of the new ones they've come out with, the original one, and it still holds up my R5 with a 24-70 and a microphone without a problem. So I don't want you to think that you need the newer one. Go ahead, buy the older one, maybe even buy it secondhand off of eBay. I think a Ronin will treat you well there. If you can find it for as low as $200, well, $275, let's actually buy both of them so we can do photo and video. The good news is you might use your tripod for video. If you're sitting someone down for an interview or something of that nature, you are gonna want a tripod. So we're gonna subtract $275 off that, and we have $55 left. I'm not gonna use that $55. What are some things that you could use that $50 to go towards? Probably taxes whenever you're buying this gear, to be honest. You're gonna pay more than that. I didn't factor that in, I'm sorry. But you could maybe buy a camera strap. But other things you can do is buy more memory cards, buy third-party batteries as backups, the things that aren't really that exciting. At the end of the day, the exciting stuff is the camera and the lens. That's what I get pumped about, and the other things are accessories to make your camera and your lens perform better. Other things that you might want to consider, and this is more if you're going towards the video world, is to get an ND filter. The reason you would want an ND filter is so that whenever it's super bright outside, you can still keep your shutter speed pretty low. The one that I have is the Cinema Hard Stop ND filter from Prism Lens Effects. It comes in at about $125. So that is the camera gear that if I was starting from scratch and had a $5,000 budget, it's what I would buy. Go ahead, buy your R8, buy your lenses, and that is going to take up the majority of your budget, but you can pretty much accomplish anything with those combos. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you want me to do a similar video with a different price point, maybe $1,000, maybe $10,000, maybe you want a video-oriented one, maybe a photo one. Let me know. I will make it if you want me to. I enjoy this. It's kind of fun for me to shop around and have an imaginary budget and forget about all the gear that I already have. But thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.